Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Let us look at how Indriyajaya or control or self-control or self-regulation is studied in the positive psychology. If you look at the 24 character strengths, these 24 character strengths I mentioned in the very beginning of this course are identified with the thorough research of various traditions, and Seligman and his colleagues have identified these 24 character strengths, which are called not talent but character strengths, because they give meaning, direction, purpose and sustenance to any talent. Temperance is the one core character strength identified in the schema proposed by Seligman and colleagues. So, temperance is nothing but self-regulation. So, as Indriyajaya is identified very important aspect or way of attaining well-being, temperance is also identified in the modern positive psychology as a very important way of attaining well-being. Self-regulation, patience, hyperactivity, willpower, these are also reflections of temperance, and there is already a literature, there has been a literature on these aspects much before the proposition and the elaboration of the character strengths by Seligman and colleagues. So, there is a research on these aspects. Impact of these qualities is studied in context of various things like overeating, overeating, addiction, shoplifting, and this proceeding of the National Academy of Science 2011 reports these studies. We have found that self-regulation, our ability to control our senses, have direct association with control on overeating, smoking, addiction and shoplifting, etc. Self-control during first decade of life is found to be extremely well connected with how much your earning happens, income happens in the later years. It is also connected to saving behavior, financial security, occupational prestige, physical and mental health, substance abuse and lack of criminal conviction, among others. That is why for kids it is even more important, because it is like strengthening our mind has much higher dividend if it is done in the beginning of the career. If it is done in the beginning of the career or beginning of life, that builds the very sound foundation on which later desirable behavior can be enacted with much more ease. So, Indriyajaya is studied in the form of self-control in the psychology, and is found to be very well associated with some of the very important aspects which make our life successful, which make our career successful. Studies also suggest that there is no such thing like too much self-control. If it is result of the self-motivation, if it is result of right tattva bodh, then whatever amount of self-control is done, it does not harm. The self-control which is imposed, self-imposed by imposed of others, that can harm, that can damage in long term. But when self-control is attained with the proper tattva bodh, with the proper insights into a thing, then no self-control is too much. The outcome in the adulthood confirms that. So, disciplined childhood is not anyway makes people suffer in their adulthood psychologically. So, that does not happen. Remarkably, the predictive power of self-control is comparable to that of either general intelligence or family socio-economic status. What does that mean? That means self-control can compensate for general intelligence. And we have also seen in our research more cognitive resources if let loose, if people with the more cognitive resources or general intelligence, if they are not mindful, they end up becoming more agitated. So, that the current study, this slide also suggests that either general intelligence or family socio-economic status, both of these can be compensated by having right self-control. So, there are a few questions. Does Indriyajaya reduces happiness? Answer is, it increases life satisfaction and well-being. It does not reduces happiness. So, discipline is good. Abhyas and Vairagya, these are the two core, these are the two foundations of the yogic practice. We should not think about attaining well-being in life if we are not ready and if we do not practice Abhyas and Vairagya, if we do not practice self-control, we should not hope for the well-being in the long run. What yogic tradition says about reasons behind lack of Indriyajaya? That means many times people know that what is the right behavior, but still they indulge into the wrong behavior. This is called Duryodhan syndrome. Duryodhan syndrome, many of you must have heard that when he was asked why you do what you are doing, the answer of Duryodhan, the character in the Mahabharata who was the head of the Kauravas and who did not give their rightful share in the property to the Pandavas, their cousins, and then the war of Mahabharata took place and all that destruction happened. Eventually Duryodhan was defeated. So, Duryodhan was in the earlier in the text, he is asked, why do you do what you are doing? This is clearly not right. Duryodhan said that, Janamya dharmam nachame pravritti, Janamya dharmam nachame nivritti. I know what is dharma, I know what is righteousness, but that is not my nature, that is not my pravritti. I am not able to indulge into it. Janamya dharmam, adharma bhi janta hu, I know what is not righteous, but that is not my nivritti. I am not able to get rid of that. Yogic tradition also explains why many of us suffer from this Duryodhan syndrome. I am calling it syndrome because it has impact on all aspects of life. So, there are two things, Pragyaparad, Ashtamendriyartha Sanyog. These are the two things. Pragyaparad means not following dharma even after knowing that. So, we need to be conscious about dharma and we also have to enact according to that. To reduce the Pragyaparad, Margaret Gentile has designed a very beautiful course called Giving Voice to Values. What this course is about? Course says that this course teaches students that you might be having right values, but you need to give voice to it, you need to enact on it. There are certain interventions which can make people, which can prepare people to enact on those values. So, to reduce Pragyaparad, you can also have a look at the course on giving voice to values. A lot of that component is available online, you can check that. Another aspect, another reason why people are not able to follow Indriyajaya is Ashtamendriyartha Sanyog, indulgence into the satisfaction of the Indriya, satisfaction of the senses. For that we need to have awareness. If we look at the sense pleasure, that happens only for few seconds. A good food gives pleasure only those few seconds when it is on our tongue. Before that and after that, it does not give pleasure. For that pleasure, for the pleasure of those few seconds, if we can hold our awareness, if we can hold our breath, we can control that. Yoga help us in controlling that Ashtendriyartha Sanyog. That means it can help us to look at this Sanyog of the union of Indriyas or senses with the substance, and look at that it's only a matter of few seconds, and if we can, and yoga also help us to have control on those movements. So these are the ways yogic tradition can help us to attain Indriyajaya. Ultimately, it is about well programmed life. That means having good hobbies, prayers, having commitment for the right cause, bigger cause. Some of these things naturally result into Indriyajaya. If I am aspired by some big picture, if I am aspired by some what in Hindi called udat uddeshya, for a higher purpose, then naturally we will be able to control our senses. If we are inspired and motivated by those long term things, we can forego these short term, immediate term pleasures more easily. So that's why dharma kriya is important. So dharma kriya is facilitated by Indriyajaya. Dharma kriya also helps into keep practicing Indriyajaya. We are going to discuss that in the next part of this.